All right. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Learn Biz the podcast. I am
Good
here. I'm Sandy
morning.
B, and I'm here with Lisa K. Crawford. Good morning, Lisa.
Good morning, lovely Sandy B. How are you doing this morning?
You know what? It's Tuesday. It feels like a Friday or a Monday, so I can't even tell you how I feel. But I'm happy to announce that we have the lovely Kymberlee Curry Smith in the building. Good morning,
Good
Kymberlee.
Yes. Good
morning, ladies.
morning.
Good morning.
So, Kim, we're going to get right into it because I know it's a busy Tuesday morning and we want to make sure we get a little bit from you before you leave us. But tell us a little bit about who you are and how you got here today.
Well, thank you so much, ladies, first for having me this early morning on a Tuesday after a holiday, only because it's y'all. I'm inspired.
Thank you.
But my name is Kymberlee Smith, and I guess I'll start with kind of just who I am. I'm from the South Florida area. I grew up here. I graduated from Florida State undergrad, so go Seminoles.
Okay.
Yes. And I graduated from Boston College for law school, I should say. And I decided to become an attorney kind of young. I definitely figured it out in college. And so I honestly had two attorneys in my family that went to Boston College and
Nice.
followed their footsteps. And had a whole bunch of family support and did the internships and all that stuff and went to work at a law firm. I started off at a law firm doing real estate, land use, and doing a whole bunch of closings for a law firm.
Wow.
After that, I moved on to the city of Miami. I was an assistant city attorney for the city of Miami for about 3.5 years. Did a ton of stuff there, all still related to real property, land use, environmental law. Um, I got to touch a lot of things. Community development was a big part of my experience while I was there, which felt really good. I liked working in a municipality. How I end up where I have my own law firm,
Okay.
I I'll say this: be working at a city or any municipality is quite political at times,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to figure out how to say it nicely. Four of us were we got cut. We just got cut. We
Oh,
had jobs that other people wanted, and
Hmm.
man.
the person leading the show wanted to give it to him, and so we got cut. And I was pregnant with my second kid, but nobody knew it. And reality set in. I had to work. I couldn't go anywhere pregnant
Gotcha.
and try to take off, another 3-4 months. And so I just, my grandmother teased me that was the Lord's plan for me, and I always laughed. And then one day I had to start my own law firm way earlier than I thought I would have to do it. And so this is how I get to Kymberlee Curry Smith, PA.
I
I
love
know that's right.
Shout
Yes.
out to Doug. Good morning. Good
Good
morning,
morning,
Doug.
Doug.
You know,
Good
we're introducing you to Kymberlee Curry Smith, the phenomenal Curry
Oh,
Smith.
so kind, so kind.
Um, so it's beautiful that you tell your story because you told it kind of like, all right, I just got here. I got here. But you are a mom, you are a wife, you are an entrepreneur, you serve your community, you support your family. I mean, there's a lot to be said about that. And you somehow managed to be able to wake up and join us at 7 something in the morning
Wow.
to tell us how that works. Cause I know some of your inside story and I just be like, him, how?
Sandy was way more than some. She was a lot. But I honestly listen. When I was a kid, I used to laugh. And Lisa started off with the spirituals this morning. That's the only way. That's the only way. It's just a blessing, but it's the grace of God that makes it work. It's a blur every day, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Hmm.
But yes, I have three boys. They are 13, 11, and 8 now. And my husband, Christopher Smith, who is amazing. And then my grandmother has played a huge role in just allowing me to be random and not have to worry about if my kids are safe or, where
Yeah.
they are. And so it's just a lot. I started this law firm very, very, and it's still super small, but I mean, I started off, in the office in my house. and just using the skills that I learned really at the law firm. I did a lot of closings. I knew how to do closings, and when you gotta eat what you kill, you got to start with what you know, so you can hit the ground running a little bit. So I started the law firm doing title work. So I started my own title company, and I just kind of grew from there. Just grinding little by little, gaining people's trust, and because I have my own firm, I can do a lot without somebody telling me what my schedule has to look like, right? So it's insane. Like, we wake up, we get the kids out. I usually do drop off and pick up most days. Thank God for a smartphone. I can do a whole lot. Park in the gas station. But I'm really happy to say I have my assistant Desiree Jones working at the office. She does an amazing job holding down the fort, grabbing everything that kind of comes in. I also have a paralegal that Sandy knows, Sarah.
Lifesaver.
Lifesaver, holds it down on the probate side. So I do real property, probate. Sandy and I have learned probate together.
Trust.
Estate planning, municipal law. So I am the attorney for the City of Miami's Unsafe Structures Board, as well as the City of Fort Lauderdale's Code Enforcement Board. And so those are independent, jobs that I do through my law firm, but it keeps me in the municipal range that I like to be in. And, again, just through the family support, honestly, my parents have always been very supportive, and it's just a matter of trying to balance, family, getting into work. I think you two ladies can attest that there is no real schedule. You get it in where you can. I'm doing work in the school pickup line, right? So I try to be efficient enough to make it not sound like I'm in the car line when I'm talking to clients, even though
I'm done.
So it's just so much going on at times that don't really make sense, right? So when you're you got to get it in. It's crazy out there. So as much as you may want to detach to make sure you're doing well at your craft, it's hard to do that. I have always heard that, right? Because that's been going on since the beginning of time. And it's not until you're in that hot seat that you learn that this is not going to go the way I thought. Not going to go the way I intended or I planned, not even my day. So you get accustomed to a day-by-day approach, outlining what is important for you to do today, for your firm, for your business. And seeing what can get done before the kids get picked up. So you get all the real substantive, important stuff done when they're out. And then, when you pick them up, there's other stuff that you can do while they're doing activities, or just stay in the car or stay parked outside where you can see them. But you even got to train the kids, right? When they get in the car line, go back there work. And thank God for a mute button. But
look,
it's a lot. So I help with my grandparents. I help with. I'm the random person, and I will also say with marriage, my husband is the one with the steady, the more steady job, paycheck every 2 weeks. Got all on insurance. So as much of a beast as I'd like to be, I realize I have to take a bit of a back seat to a certain extent, because that's steady. And I have to be supportive, and I have to accept what I never wanted to accept. I got to be the random one to kind of catch all of the balls that are flying, the doctor's appointments and all that other stuff. But he's extremely understanding as well. When I look at him and say, today is that day, he'll shut it down and fill in for me, so I don't feel like I'm a bad mom or a bad person. He helps with my grandparents, and so it's a beautiful partnership.
Yes.
And it takes a lot of respect for each other. I don't like feeling like what I do doesn't matter, because I'm not doing it in the traditional way. So I fight my own battles with what that looks like, what that feels like. and just wanting to be respected for what it is that I'm working to be.
Gotcha.
But I will say, I think my kids they're starting to recognize that not every kid can be picked up and dropped off by parents every day.
Ooh, Kim, you're saying something that we got to pause on this real quick, because I know Lisa has some questions for you, but I'm just going to say this. You are a phenomenal mom. And I've never seen, I have a number of my friends who are married, have children, own law firms, and all of you have this thing that I can't put my finger on, but you somehow manage to make it seamless, and you don't look like you're losing your mind, even when I know sometimes you may be losing your mind. So I'm gonna pivot it to Lisa, because I know Lisa is like, I got some questions.
Sandy, this time I'm actually all ears.
What?
Yes, amazingly, right? So, but yes, I'm all ears because, Kymberlee knows her story.
Yeah.
And I just appreciate her sharing it because, you can try to make this entrepreneurial experience sound real rosy and easy.
Yeah.
But when you are the reason why the whole thing works,
yeah,
it's just work. And nobody can necessarily see the beads of sweat growing on your forehead or feel the pricks under your arms, whatever you're going through. And then just listening to her and not having children, I feel like I should never complain again another day in my life.
She got 3 boys. So she got to deal with 3 boys plus the head boy in the household. She's the middle. She's the only girl.
4 men.
Yeah.
4 men, 3 young ones and one maid. So yes, I'm like this to you, sis. I really don't have any questions. I just want to keep listening.
I appreciate it. Sandy is one of those core people in my circle that you can be vulnerable with. We're vulnerable together.
Yes.
When those days hit, when we're stuck, when you feel like you don't want to be vulnerable, we can be vulnerable together.
That's nice.
We learn from each other. Our clients benefit from us having friendship because we can help pull each other through things. It doesn't matter what time Sandy calls me.
Yeah.
I don't. If there's a question, even if it's how do I get through this?
Yeah.
That talk will get you through an assignment, but it'll help increase your sanity, even if it's just for 2 more hours that you need. It's hard. Not a lot of attorneys want to share.
Truth.
They don't want to share.
Preach, sis. Preach now.
They share, but not really.
Not really, right.
So you got to have people in your worlds that care enough about you to open up and share, right? Yeah. And we're all better for it. Mm-hmm. We help each other. We can figure it out without blocking each other. It's just it's a lot of that. And my kids know Sandy.
Wait, is that Auntie Sandy over there?
Well, yes, they're not allowed to call her Sandy. They can say Auntie Sandy or Miss Sandy. They're not allowed to say Sandy. Okay. But they do know Sandy, and they get to see other Black women on their grind in a different way. So this morning they asked me why I wasn't going to school this morning. And I was on Sandy's podcast, and I said, she's got a radio show for her law firm. And they were like, oh, okay. So I'm blessed because they learn a lot just by the cool people that I'm around.
Yeah.
And this is, Sandy uplifting me, you uplifting me, Lisa, us uplifting each other. That doesn't happen a lot. It doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah.
And when you have kids, so many times you're almost embarrassed. As much effort as you put into raising your family, you don't want other people to know that you have that going on, because some people perceive it as a weakness. They assume you're not focused. They assume that your priorities are not, there. And it's frustrating because we know better.
Now, why does that? Wait, I missed something. Now, why does that happen again? Where people assume these negative things?
You can't say I can't have a meeting after 2 because I have to go pick up my kids. A lot of people don't want to hear that. They just need you to be available when they're available. So you learn to be strategic, and you say, I scheduled certain meetings from this time to this time. And I can do conference calls. I can do lots of stuff after pickup, but I can't do it at 2:00 or at 3:00.
Right.
So you have to be creative with how you communicate what you're doing with your time, because people just have old assumptions sometimes. Obviously, it's 2022. We've had the pandemic, and so many people are working from home still.
Yeah.
Yes.
Judge like they used to, because now they get it. But if you call me at 4:00 in the afternoon, my oldest son does horseback riding. I can guarantee you I'm watching the horse's butt by 5:30. Nobody knows that. But I'm scrubbing and washing tails and all kinds of other crazy stuff, but nobody knows that's what I'm doing. That's not professional at 4:00, but it's done.
But wait, you can't pick up the phone and say, hello, I'm scrubbing the horse's butt.
I just hope that nothing neighs in the background, while I'm working.
My gosh.
You just gotta grind. I think you gotta grind. You gotta have a healthy support system, and you just got to stay focused. And as still on Lisa in the spirituals, you got to encourage yourself. You really have to push through it. Every day is not going to look the same. We're going to make mistakes.
Yes.
Right? And then you as an attorney, you feel like you're not allowed to, but we're human.
Yeah.
And we always hear a practice is because you're learning. But when you're on your own, who are you learning from? So you got to be careful.
I know. So wait, Kymberlee and to Sandy, I'm sure you have, I'm going to ask it anyway, but have you had that feeling like you've been on an island in your practice at times, and it's like, hello out there? I have felt that way so many times. And that's why I appreciate the camaraderie of the sister lawyers. I mean, the
get that sisterhood.
I do appreciate it.
Serious.
Look, this is real. Like when I first started out, I had a very, very challenging time trying to kind of grasp what I was supposed to be doing. Like that was the first issue. Is like, how do I operate this practice when I'm literally just coming out and know that this is what I want to do? And then I had the unfortunate situation of landing in a firm environment that further exacerbated my feelings of anxiety and stress and not being able to feel comfortable in the practice. And it was just like, I met Kim at a very, very critical time. Because at the time I met Kim, it could have been easily like I was done with practice. I could have gone back to education and gone back to the classroom.
Oh, no.
Literally. But I started to meet folks like Kim and this young lady named Thessica. And of course, my partner at the time and Kristen. And I don't think I knew you, Lisa, at the time, but I think we met in passing at some point. But, there were a lot of little things. And it was just like, Kim was one of those people that reminded me, all of us are trying to figure this out. Number one. Number two, we're going to be in an environment where it's not going to be us. We just have to be comfortable with that. It's not going to be us, but we have to find ways to make us a part of the environment. And that's just what it is. And so many times I'd be like, Kim, I don't even want to deal with these people right now. Like, I don't even want to come to this thing. I don't want to be the only one. And she's like, well, you're not the only one because I'm here. So it's two of us, right? And then maybe there's a third person. So I think something important Kim taught me was just, I got to put the blinders on a little bit, but open them up just enough to see that there is somebody else that may be there that looks like me, that feels my experience, that can connect. But Kim, I want you to give us a picture of the dynamic, because you talk about your family, you talk about business, but I want you to tell us about your family. Tell us what your husband does. Tell us about your kids, because your kids also are accomplished. And then give us a little bit more about you and the things that you're trying to do.
So funny. So my husband, Chris, is a pharmacist. He's the director of pharmacy at Memorial Regional Hospital. I'm super, super proud of him. We've known each other since high school. We graduated from Archbishop Curley in Little Haiti.
What?
And Archbishop Curley, they tore it down like 2 years ago.
Yes, so I remember.
But we're Archbishop Curley grads, and you know, we, like I said, met in high school and had all the ebbs and flows, but, you know, got serious in law school and obviously got married. We have 3 boys. So Christopher is our oldest. He is in the 8th grade. He's in his last year of middle school. I can't believe it.
Oh boy.
He's a published author. He's got a book, Guess Who, Mr. Dinosaur.
Hold on.
Nice.
When he was
Hold on. You know, I'm going to have to pause. When Kim told me that her son was an author, now again, we Black women, we Black lawyers. Kim is a mom, a wife. She has a tribe. She cares for a lot of people. She's a community person. She's like, my son's an author. I'm like, what? What now?
Yes.
That's accomplished. That's beautiful. But let me give a shout out there. I see my Sean Denise has checked in. I didn't get to say hi to Doug either earlier because I was mesmerized by Miss Kymberlee here. But shout out to Doug and my Sean Denise this morning. Thank you all for joining in as usual. We appreciate you all.
Oh yeah.
Hey, good morning, everybody. But yeah, my baby, he wrote a book when he was 3. He loved dinosaurs. And if you knew him when he was young, you believe me, the kid started talking at probably, I swear it was 2 weeks old. I mean, he's been talking for forever. And
wow.
so
Very bright.
Yeah, thank God. And we wanted to encourage him to read and write. And know, you know, learning to read is frustrating. So we took what he loved, which is everything had to be compared to a dinosaur. So in old people fashion, we laughed because we forgot all of the cool stuff. That's actually him in the background in that picture. But
That's funny.
he's always comparing dinosaurs to like regular animals that we see today. So we wrote down his phrases and let him come up with all the concepts, and we published this book, and it's beautiful. It's on Amazon.
Look.
Heck, you know, I love it.
Doug says that's what's up. My Sean Denise is over here blowing it up right now.
We have to interview that entrepreneur, Sandy.
Look, we might need to talk to him.
He'd be funny to interview, but he's 13. He does horseback riding, flag football, any sport you put him in, he loves it. He loves it.
Wait a minute. What is his sign?
You know, I'm horrible. He was born mid-July.
Really?
Mid-July.
He has a lot of different interests. I thought for sure he would be a Sag.
No, that's me.
That's you? Okay.
But he's a busy kid if you allow him to be. So he's the one we have to control. So our schedules are not out of control because he do everything. My middle son Jacob is amazing. He loves to write like short stories. So Jacob, beautiful writer. And we're super, super proud of him. And then my youngest is 8. So Jacob just started middle school. Langston is my 8-year-old. He's in the 3rd grade. And
I believe he's 8.
He's 8 already, Sandy. And he's he's a very cool kid. He loves to tinker. He loves to repair things. He loves to find out how things work. So
I love that.
Your oldest is a Cancer. And Doug is appreciating you being a Sagittarius.
That's right, Doug. Represents that. That's right, Doug.
I love it. So, you know, we try to keep them engaged. They're young Black men. There's so much going on in the world. And I do my best, and my husband does as well, to make sure that our education translates opportunities to them. So we're constantly reminding them that the education is the key to the opportunities that we're able, and just by them being blessings anyway, but what we're able to provide to them. And so, you know, it's a hustle, but Sandy knows, Lisa, you know, we go on different work conferences and these kids are at the breakers. They're all over.
I know. That was so nice.
Yes.
Kymberlee had all her children up there at the breakers.
Everybody.
And I saw some of them other folks on, you know, they have all their children up there. I'm like, that's right, Kymberlee. You let them be exposed to all of this too. And it's just beautiful to see that. But I do have one quick question to slip in there.
Yeah.
What do you say to them about the police?
That's a challenge. Yeah.
I will start off by saying, at any point that there is a direct interaction with a police officer, I tell them, I make it a point to say thank you, right? I understand it's a complicated relationship with the police. I will say, from a parent's perspective, I need my kids to have a healthy respect for them, for number one, what they do. I always make it clear, we're not teaching you to call 911 for nothing. When something is wrong, that's who you call. So you gotta respect them because they're putting their lives on the line every day, right? I've had family members in the armed services. It's the same thing. Not everybody's cut out to do that. So I want them to have a healthy respect for the police. I do also let them watch what happens. I control the message, right? So they're not freaked out.
Yeah.
I do let them see what's going on. And I have to help them understand, like many parents do way before us.
Yeah.
Everybody is not good. Everybody is not caring. Everybody doesn't care about protecting and serving. Some
Yeah.
people have other issues, other motives. And so we are obviously, and I sent them to a police camp when they were very young, just to understand what the police do, right? So that they can understand it, but to help them understand what you need to do when you're interacting with a police officer. You never know
I
what
like
day they've
that.
had. You don't know what their raising is, what their background is.
Yeah.
So I think by virtue of me going out of my way, if a police officer is helping us cross the street in a crowd, I say thank you. So my kids can hear me and see me. I want them to understand that it's important to respect the police. But I also help them understand if we get pulled over, this is what it is. You
Yeah.
never know. You can never take things for granted. And so we've done a lot to let them watch a lot of stuff, um
Yeah.
so that they
That's
we did
good.
Alcatraz. We took them to Alcatraz. And I
What?
simple thing to say, but they've been to Alcatraz, and we use those opportunities to help them understand what happens when people go to prison, how families are broken up when people go to prison.
Yeah.
um it's a complicated topic, and it's a lot. You know, their dad has locks like Sandy. I keep a natural hairstyle.
Yeah.
So not everybody's warm and fuzzy to that. Not everybody's friendly to it.
Trust.
So
What was that trip about for you? The Alcatraz trip.
we
What
went,
was it?
it was a, I will be honest, it was a spring break family trip that we took out to San Francisco. Um, Alcatraz was a cool part of that trip, but when we got there, it talked about segregation at Alcatraz. So it
Oh
talked
wow.
about, as crazy as Alcatraz was, they segregated in there. And so it was an opportunity to be in a prison. And crazy enough, Alcatraz had an exhibit on mass incarceration. And
Oh,
that mass incarceration exhibit started it with shackles from slavery and how they were modified to be handcuffs and the leg, shackles for prison. But they
yeah.
talked about the rates at which minorities and blacks and brown people are arrested versus other people. They talked about how the jail system was a converted slavery system to get that labor source back, right, for free.
Sheesh.
So we talk to them about that kind of stuff so they understand context. It's not just something on CNN that we watch as a family. It's a real
Gotcha.
deal. And we talk to them about that. So it's complicated. We tell them they're young black men. We talk to them about being in the house at a certain time, just things to reduce your chances of getting in trouble, right?
Yeah.
Know if you can be, but if you know what can prevent it or help prevent it, start learning how to make decisions
Right.
that keep you out of trouble. Don't do stuff and decide you can't determine whether you're gonna get in trouble or not.
So Kim,
Exactly.
my
That's great,
Sean,
Kim. Thank you for sharing that.
It's
my
a lot.
Sean agrees with you about the police. Definitely, she's a mom as well. She has, the same kind of ideas in terms of, making sure that you come home safe.
Yeah.
And Doug says, don't hold court in the streets. If the cop is
Right.
wrong, fight
Right.
it in court and
That's what I
file
say.
a civil suit later.
That's deep.
Yeah. That's what I always say. You cannot win that battle on the
Yeah.
street. That's right.
But our people got to remember that we can do that, right? That need to react, and I get it, but many other people think just what Doug said. I got it. I'll deal with that later. I'm not gonna deal with this right now. I just want to get home.
Yeah.
Right. I'll deal with that later. We have access to the law, to attorneys. And I know it doesn't always feel like that, but we do. We do. And we can deal with it a different kind of way. It don't have to be in the street. Just get home. True. Deal with it later.
That's true. You can live to fight about it another day.
Live to fight another day. Seriously.
So, Kim, we've talked about you being attorney entrepreneur. We've talked about you having your title company and owning your own business. You're a wife. You're a mom to 3 boys. You serve the community. I want to talk briefly before we start to wrap up about your work with law students. This is something that you and I became connected with early on. Why are you motivated to help law students? Because it's like you've been doing it for a very, very long time, at least as far as my count can remember.
I, like you said, Sandy, I love giving back. I was raised to give back, honestly. But for the grace of God, everybody's made. If we all counted the amount of dumb decisions we made before we got to this, right, and continue to make every day, right, just without thinking enough. I was very, very blessed in terms of parents that gave a lot of guidance, grandparents that did not have formal education, but made sure they patted me and kept me happy and pacified so that I didn't want to give up or anything else like that. And so for me, law students and even before law students, we work with middle school kids, Sandy, high school kids,
remember.
College students. It's just that opportunity for them to see that somebody looks like them cares and know that if this is the road that they want to take, they got that support. They have what it takes to get them there. They don't have to be, mesmerized and convinced that they have what it takes. They've got what everybody else has. I think for law students, many minorities are still first to graduate from college.
Right.
Forget grad school, right?
Right. Kymberlee, 1 second. That's why it blew me away when you said that you had 2 family members that preceded you graduating from law school. Yes. I was like, wow, I'm not used to that right there, because I know I was the first lawyer in my family. And Sandy, you probably were the first lawyer in your family?
I'm the second. My cousin was the first. My international law cousin was the first. And
okay.
We didn't get to talk much because she was overseas for the whole time I was in law school, but she was the first to break through. And that kind of opened the path for me.
But you guys know there are many people out there that look like you and I that are first in the family. So I thought that was kind of fascinating right there, that you had that, I call it some leverage or a little leg up by having those family members who preceded you.
Yeah, it's confidence. Sandy and I talk about it all the time. It's the little things. When you're working with law students, they're searching for something to give them the confidence that helps them believe they can get through it. And I think it's an important part of my give back to be a conduit for whatever that confidence, can be a positive look. I've done stuff with kids, and I've had little girls literally pull on my hair for like 5 minutes because they can't believe I'm an attorney with braids or twist. And, the teacher's like, get off her hair. And I'm like, it's okay. Because they just can't, they in their minds, they're like, you go to work. Like one of them said, you go to work like that. And I said, it's okay. And she was like, what, how? Because, I thought you had to have a straight weave, straight up. That's what she said to me.
Oh my goodness. So the kid was having an Obama moment with your hair.
Moment with the hair.
She couldn't process it at all.
Right. And so Sandy and I do tons of work with law students. I think they just need to know there's a network of people that care, that look like them. And we have a lot of students that don't look like us. I think they just care that we care. And it's hard trying to be an attorney. You grow up hearing doctor or lawyer, especially with kids from immigrant families. Sometimes that's all their parents want to hear.
Yeah.
Doctor, lawyer, maybe engineer. I don't know what else you're doing in life, right?
Yeah.
And so it's hard. And if you don't have anybody else that looks like you are in the family, you don't know what to do. You don't know what questions to ask. You may not know how to dress. You may know how you dress in your community or the people around you, but you quickly notice that's not going to fly in other spaces. So you need somebody to ask, right? If I got a big butt and you got a big butt, what do I mean? It's the little stuff, you know. I'm at a law firm, and we're just based on our experiences. Like, you might want to use some Spanx or something to help just
hold it
some
down.
of that
Yeah,
yeah.
It's not a distraction, because that's real deal. You go to work. That's, if your head isn't straight, people will take advantage of a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I used to couldn't stand? Like, you know how you buy the suits that are out there at the store. So at one point, you notice how the skirts start getting shorter and shorter.
Oh yeah, they bad.
And then you sit in a courtroom or you sit in some office conference and you sit down and all of a sudden your skirt hem is way above your knees. You guys remember that?
I still deal with that. I still deal with that.
That bugs me. That made me want to go out and find someone to make my skirts, because I never liked the short skirts.
We used to do, at one point I was president of Gwen Cherry Black Women Lawyers Association, and we partnered with Ann Taylor and Brooks Brothers. Nice. And they would pull different outfits that were appropriate for the legal profession, but that had a little bit of personality, so they didn't feel like they were a drone. But nice. They would pull out a rack of clothes.
Look, Doug is over here laughing because he's like, what?
But I mean, we would just say, this is a hemline, this is an A-line, this is a, you know, the different skirt.
I like that.
Body is not going to fit in the same skirt and look the same way.
Look, now, Doug don't understand this is a real issue.
What's that one that goes up and down like that? That's the
piece.
What kind of what line is that?
Piece. It's just straight. It's got no curve in it.
See, Black women needed to know that back. I needed to know that back in the day, because I should have never had that. I should have probably had more A-line skirts because of the whole hip thing, right?
Yeah.
See, we needed to know things like that. You're absolutely right.
So, I mean, for us, when we work with law students, it's a lot about just giving them support, giving them confidence, letting them know what we've learned, so that have that confidence coming in. I think a lot of law students, especially so many of them, their dads are attorneys, their grandfather is an attorney, their uncle is an attorney, just their exposure to that language, to that space, to those kind of offices. It breeds a different vocabulary. It breeds a whole, my kids alone, when I listen to them talk, I forget why they sound like that. But they're around, you know, even my friends in the office, they talk, you know, that's their exposure to so many things. It takes for granted. But that's what we see when we were in law school.
We saw those kids that really had the edge up, you know, they understood the language.
They understood the language. And so
and you saw that confidence too, right?
Of course.
And they had that confidence.
We've seen that. They don't right, but they got a swag because they're confident. Or who they can call to get help. So when we help law students, that's our goal, to make sure they know that there's somebody they can call, get help, get information from, get guidance from, and people who care to help them get where they need to be, so they don't feel insecure or by themselves. Because many times you don't even want to ask your classmates. Classmates don't share.
Yeah.
That's
law school
true.
is different.
Law school was tough, and thank God for BALSA, like the Black American Law Student Associations across American campuses. Some people said, why do you need a BALSA organization on a college campus? Right. It was very needed.
Yeah.
It had to do with that camaraderie, that experience of people being able to share and rely and grow together, which we didn't have that, coming in separately from different communities with not a lot of folks behind us who've done the same thing.
It's true. A lot of students, especially South Florida, it's so diverse here. But you still have your majorities, you still have your minorities. And I want to say, not everybody has to be sophisticated to be confident. Numbers alone can give you confidence, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, no matter which island you're from, it's just like, look, you know, Sandy and I, we laugh a lot. Our practice, you know, we do, you know, the probate and all that other kinds of stuff, but it's so cultural specific sometimes, or culturally specific sometimes. The way Haitians function, the way
Girl, my Haitians know how to function different.
Black Americans function, the way Cubans function, everybody is different.
Yeah.
Everybody has a different need, and you got to get law students who have that background through, so they can be there to help their people. Because everybody else, God willing, we age out, but somebody's got to know that it's okay. That, you know, I mean, there's so many clients who just blindly trust because they're intimidated by an American system. They love having access to it, but they don't know with it. It is like, it's a lot of layers. It may not be that many layers at home. You just do it. Here you got 6 steps to get you to the same place.
Yeah.
People are using words that they don't have a clue. And you have students that come from those families.
Yeah.
They know what it is, and they're like, how do I help my people? You know,
let me tell you something. I was a prosecutor way back in the day. And, you know, in the beginning of court, the prosecutor somewhat explained certain instructions to the audience and would tell the folks, you know, what a guilty plea means, what not guilty means, what no contest means. And inevitably, somebody would stand up there and plead no contents.
Not no contents.
Yeah, no content, not no contest, but no contents. Because what people just don't understand, and that just shows you that we explain things to people, even as lawyers, but people are not always getting that stuff.
Oh,
no.
We take that for granted a lot of times, I think, too, in the legal system.
True.
I think a lot of us too, Sandy and I talk about it a lot. When we went to law school, I think we were all fixated on the big firm jobs, or you know, these big cushy jobs. And obviously they matter. I think what I had to get comfortable with is all of my clients don't look like that, but that's where the help is most needed. So you start reprogramming yourself to understand why you chose to become an attorney.
Yeah.
You want to make your money clearly, but you realize your function is one that literally helps people. I don't even know how to explain it. People pass away and living in houses and can't do anything with it. They're not getting homestead exemption.
Look.
Why? And we sitting there like, why are you paying all that money in taxes? I don't know. My mama left me this or whatever. And you're sitting there like, man, that's low-hanging fruit to us.
Yeah.
To know about it. But you just helped an entire family get access to maybe the only property anybody in the family had.
Yeah.
They couldn't buy it, but they inherited it. Now you can leverage it for different things. So
I love it. But that's why we can never leave this space, ladies. You know, even though I am in real estate, I can never leave this space of estate planning and probate, because even white attorneys know how underserved our communities are. I've even had attorneys come up to me and say, look, can I come into your communities and help you? Because your people are getting taken. I mean, they losing their real estate left and right. They don't know that they can lose their property for code violations, unpaid taxes,
broken fence.
It's just awful.
Yeah.
$30,000 liens for a fence nobody bothered to do, or not doing lien searches when you buy property because you figure it's just a quick buy or somebody gave it to you, and all of a sudden now you're stuck with a lien. That
filling out quick claim deeds by yourself and transferring properties back and forth and here and there. Yep.
Can we talk about this on like another subject, another show? Because we all have these practice areas in common, and we know the trials and trepidations in our communities.
Yeah, we definitely need to do like a little thing.
We were trying to do little legal clinics at churches, synagogues, mosques. I'm frustrated. Nobody's been in debate that often. That
Because everybody too secretive. Don't nobody want to talk about nothing. Nobody need to know my business.
No.
You know, it's just
or the questions without the real specifics. Gotta do better than that.
We have to.
We gotta do better.
Oh boy. Well, you know, we all are very passionate about this area, you know, dealing with probate real estate and trying to deal with these estate planning issues and the lack of planning, lack of preparation. So in all, Kim, I want to touch back on your entrepreneur journey.
Yeah.
What keeps you motivated? Because again, I'm going to repeat this because I want people to hear this throughout this video. You are an attorney entrepreneur. You have your own title company. You are a mom of 3 Black boys. You have a Black husband who has locks. You wear your hair natural. You support your family. You have attorneys in your family. Like, you have all of these things, but how do you keep yourself motivated? Because I know that you may get some forces that kind of keep you pushing along, but how do you keep yourself motivated?
I'm so sorry. I'm being bad. I'm going to interrupt because that's probably going to be your last response. But before you do that, can you please tell folks what it means to have a title company? I think.
Sorry, I forgot about quickly. That. Thanks, Lisa.
A title company is funny. I never realized. So for me, it was my hustle. It was the thing I knew how to do because I was trained to do it as a junior associate to help churn all those closings out when the real estate market was insane. I had no idea I didn't understand the significance of what I was being trained to do. I just knew I was being trained to do it. I didn't realize until maybe a few years into my own practice, the significance of it. And I think I only knew it because I would have people say, I didn't know there were Black title agents out there.
True.
But what is a title agent?
So a title agent is a conduit because it's almost like, I'm going to liken it to a car insurance. If something happens to your car, your insurance agent may be the one to connect you with the company, and the company will be the one to do the payout if anything were to happen. But the agent is the one in the middle kind of doing the legwork on behalf of the insurance company. So right. A title agent is the person, and not all title agents are attorneys, but we are the person that works with the insurance company. So if somebody comes back and tries to stake a claim to your property, you need to fight that in court. A title insurance company will do that for you because the title insurance agent has done what we call the due diligence to research and make sure that that property doesn't have any random claims that shouldn't be. And if there are, we clean it up. So if there are mortgages, deeds, code enforcement, different issues. I always tell people title to a property is kind of like a credit report for a person. It's a list of everything on record that needs to be cleaned up before a bank will loan you money. And so if you're using a bank for a loan, it's not an option to get title insurance in Florida. It's a requirement.
Okay.
Right. So the bank forces you to get that title insurance to make sure that the title to the property is clean before they lend you that money.
Because the bank will only accept a warranty deed, and you can only get a warranty deed if you have title insurance. Am I right about that?
Correct. Warranty or special warranty, those are typically the limits. They're not going to do anything less than that. They're different and they mean different things, as we know, but they're the higher quality deeds, and they are the kind that the banks will accept to confirm that title has been cleaned up, so that if they put a mortgage on the property, if they need to take it back to foreclosure, there's not anybody else that can stake a claim ahead of them. But you can also get it as a property owner. It's optional, but it truly is a requirement, and it doesn't cost more than, I think it's like maybe 25 extra bucks or something. It's dirt cheap, right? You get that as a property owner as well for the amount that you purchased the property for. So if somebody comes back and tries to stake a claim, and Florida is such a fraud driven state.
I can't with Florida.
People out there doing stuff, deeds that aren't recorded, random stuff that comes up. So you need that title insurance to be able to cover you. And so that's what the title agent does. We do that due diligence and we make sure that title is clean so that you can get your title insurance policy. But you make great money doing that because those insurance companies pay you for that due diligence that you're doing. You clean up all the dirt, right? All of the sausage making process.
Yes.
And then in the end, they get clean title. And so, you know, every time somebody buys and sells property with a bank, it's a requirement. And a lot of these, you know, brokers, they have a title attorney built in right next door. So when those transactions are done, they already know who that business is being given to.
That's true. That's the same thing with our brokerage. We have a title company. There's a mortgage company. So you're right but it doesn't mean that I, as a real estate broker associate, have to recommend that my clients use the title company, which is a part of the brokerage. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that. But I'm glad that you're out there. I've been trained as a title attorney.
Okay.
And I'm glad I understand that for real estate. But I forgot my point, actually.
No, you wanted to clarify what title agents do. Like what is that role so that people generally in the public can understand it?
And yes, I think she explained it very well. And my understanding of title insurance is the only insurance that looks back in time. Like all other insurances are looking to the future. Title insurance protects you if something has happened in the past, right, Kymberlee? Correct. And it pops out at some time after you own the property.
Correct.
Some issue.
There's a lot that can go wrong, even when you're working on title. Even when you think you've cleaned it, there's things that pop up or things that, you know, banks not recording satisfactions that come up, even though you've looked at it, you cleaned it up based on the information you have, but stuff. The one thing I wanted to say that, and I totally get it, but I find it interesting. I've worked with a lot of realtors and the relationships didn't work out because the brokers didn't like them taking that title business elsewhere.
Yeah.
So that happens. So
I do my own thing, Kymberlee. Do my own thing.
Like for people, you know, when you want to say, I want to use my own title company, sometimes it's an interesting reaction.
Yeah.
Because there is a real pressure to keep that business where the brokerages like it. But it's also good to think for yourself and make sure that you're selecting, to make sure that you know that you can select.
Yes.
Most people realize they have a choice.
Well, that's why it's like playing chess. That's why I strategized and I became a real estate broker, because if I have to open up my own real estate brokerage, I can do that.
Yes.
Or, you know, so we'll see.
Yes. Yes. So that's what title agents do. It's we're the people in the background making sure things make sense and signing, doing the closings and all that other kind of stuff after everything's done. So I find it to be a privilege, especially again, same situation. A lot of minority clients, first time home buyers, or it may be the second time that they've owned a property. They're not really familiar with the process. And I feel good to know that I'm there to make sure things make sense.
Absolutely. And I do closings too as well. So, but that is really great. See all this crossover stuff we do. It's a beautiful thing. So we can come on and do more things together, ladies, and bring more topics to the public in our areas. I love this.
Me too.
Absolutely.
Me too.
All right. Well, I'm sorry, Sandy. I had digressed, but I'm back to your question now, which is
I'm glad you asked that question, though, because I've never really understood this title concept. I understand the mechanics of it, but I never understood the role of the title company in the big picture, right? It's like, you know, we go through the motions, but, you know, if somebody were to ask me, well, why do we have to go through the title company? I'm like, I don't know. They're supposed to give us some list and we go through the list and then they give us the clearance. But I don't really know, you know, hey, why are they here?
You're right.
But thank you so much, Kymberlee, for breaking down a lot of things with us today. I think this will be our last question because we've gone way over our supposed time. But I mean, it just shows you how great the conversation has been, and you shared a lot with us today. So I'm going to repeat my question. Kymberlee Curry Smith, attorney, entrepreneur. She owns her own title company. She's a mom. She has 3 boys, and I'm going to say 3 black boys. She has a black husband who has locks. She has a whole family surrounding her and enveloping her in this world of the law. But how do you keep yourself motivated as an entrepreneur? Just the island of yourself, because I know you have all these forces that kind of push you through the motions, but how do you keep yourself going?
I think I over time, and I'm starting to have a healthy respect for the blessing that comes with me having my own firm. I started off with my own firm kind of out of necessity.
Yeah.
And as it grew, as you put in the work, as you put in the sacrifice, it becomes another baby, like we all know.
Yeah.
And you want to fight for it. It is one of the rawest representations of your efforts. And as it grows, it is a reminder to you that you're doing well, at least you hope. For me, one of the other big motivators is that, again, this space of being able to have such a hands-on approach to my kids. I always wanted to be available for my kids. I can't say what that really meant at the time. I think the older they get, the more I can see the benefit of having me around. And so everybody either doesn't have that choice. Other people may have a slamming job that pays a great salary, and you have other people in the family that can help manage that support system for the kids. So there is no right way or wrong way. My situation, again, because my husband has such a demanding job, we both can't do it. And many families make that decision. Everybody can't go hard and have the kids just kind of out there. So for me, a big part of my motivation is I need this to work so I can help contribute to my house, but I need this to work so that I can have the option of helping my kids do what they need to do and just kind of have the benefit of the information that I'm sharing or my thought process. That's such a huge part of my motivation, and it allows me to help people the way I'd like to help them. When you work at a firm, they encourage you to do a lot of pro bono. You can't always pull that off. It's just sometimes either impossible or virtually impossible to do that. And again, different circumstances for everybody. I enjoy being able to, it may not always make money sense for me, but I feel good when I'm able to reduce my rate to help a family because they really needed it. I'm blessed that my husband doesn't get on my case about it sometimes, but in general, I'm able to do that. I think though my biggest motivator, in all honesty, is my kids. I think the information that I share with them as an attorney, Sandy, and again, we talk often, but the information from our education, our life experiences, when you can impart that on your kids at a young age, I think it makes them a very functional or a more functional person. And I think we know a lot of people that are not functional. They're out here functioning.
Well, you've shown that. It shows in your children. I mean, your children are mature, so it just shows.
You see most lawyer kids, most of them are, right?
Yeah.
Because somebody is saying that generational information passed down that a lot of us, we get that in certain ways, but we don't always have that in our community through education. So when you meet a lot of kids of professionals, you can tell.
You can tell. Yeah.
And because somebody's been constantly communicating to them in a certain way. And I'm thankful to God for the opportunity to do what I'm doing and know that I have to make it work. If I want to have this kind of flexibility, I got to make this work. And so I'm inspired to keep it going, just to be able to feel like I've imparted some good knowledge and love and all that other kind of stuff to them while I'm still able to do what I love to do, what makes me feel functional, right? Mommy.
Well, you doing it. You're doing it. Oh, girl, you doing it. Oh, and you're doing it. Doing it well too. That's what I
appreciate the love.
Not just all, doing it well.
I'm trying.
So keep on, Superwoman. Keep up the good work. We're proud of you.
It's tattered, but I'm going.
The cape.
I appreciate it. Thank you for this space. When I thought Sandy was going to talk to me about like hardcore substantive stuff, and she was like, "No, we just want to talk to you about what you're doing." I'm like, "Really, Sandy?" But
the stuff that you know all too well.
But I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Well, before we wrap up, Kim, please, I want you to tell folks, your practice, how to reach you, and what types of things you help people with.
So, my name of my practice is Kymberlee Curry Smith, PA. Phone number is 954-500-5277. My email is KCS, like Kymberlee Curry Smith, at kcsmithlaw.com. We're physically in Hollywood, Florida, but we have a virtual office in Pembroke Pines, West Pines. And again, just like you ladies, I do real property, probate, a little bit of estate planning, code enforcement, municipal stuff. So I'm, and I have a title company, which is, my baby. So this is kind of what I do, and I'm absolutely happy to help wherever I can and be a support to you two ladies as well. Y'all are killing it. And I look up to y'all. I don't even have the time to do so many awesome things that y'all are pulling off, like this podcast. I think this is amazing. And I'm absolutely in awe of y'all and what y'all are doing and making it work. And I'm wherever I can support y'all, I'm in.
Thank you. It wouldn't be what it is without like just that honest, heartfelt contribution that we get from just about everybody. Like, people don't mind talking about their trials and tribulations on this show, and they don't make it seem all beautiful. And, it's just like the real life stuff is what people want to hear about. So thank you so much for sharing your entrepreneurial journey and how you hold it all together. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
I'll praise the Lord first. And then, of course, my husband and just my kids and my grandmother. She's grand's getting older now, but I can't express the amount of support she's given me to be able to, leave my kids in the car with her and go off for an hour and do work and come back, and everybody's happy, fed. I don't skip a beat, so my kids are older now. She's older now, but there's no way I've pulled off as many things as I have without her just being there and supporting me, and my husband being the amazing man that he is and supporting me 115,000%. So I really want to give credit.
Girl, you sound like the award show, but let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. That's very important, though, that you let it be known where who's your support system and who helps support you. That's important that you give it up. And a lot of folks these days, some grandmas like, I ain't watching nobody's kids, not even my
That's them new
grandkids.
Don't call me grandma. Look, but don't call me grandma. Yes.
They gonna be down there trying to get their eyelashes on like everybody else, and go hang out. So
I'm not.
Yes, you're fortunate.
Not doing that.
I can't look. Shout out to Doug. He said, as usual, good interview. Looking forward to part 2. Oh, you already know we got to get Kim back. We're gonna make it topical and focus on a topic. But Kymberlee, thank you so much for sharing with us today. We definitely needed a dose of you this morning as we open up September.
Already.
Guys, if you need to reach Kymberlee, definitely check out her website, www.kcsmithlaw.com. You can find all of her contact information. Kim, are you on social media?
So the short answer is no. I'm on LinkedIn though. I'm on LinkedIn.
Okay, perfect. So you can find Kim on LinkedIn. You see her name here. Kim, thank you so much. Stay with us just a moment as we close out the broadcast. Guys, thank you for tuning in to another one with LearnBiz The Podcast. We truly appreciate you. Check us out on Instagram at B is for BIZ. We've been doing some features of Black businesses out in the community. Check out Lisa's most recent visit to the English Brown Winery.
Yes.
Woo.
I love that place, right? That peach Chardonnay. Whoa.
So you guys can find a lot of features of different Black businesses in the community. Check out some of our other videos. We've done a lot of interviews, guys, and we are growing. So we appreciate your support and your continued support. And thank you so much to those who have supported us on Cash App. You can always send us that $ LearnBiz. But we appreciate you guys and hope you have a great week. Looking forward to chatting with you guys again. Let me see. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much, Doug. We appreciate you as always. So guys, have a good one, and we'll catch you on our next video.
Friday, right, Sandy?
We'll be here Friday at 7:30. Don't miss out. All right, bye, guys.
Bye-bye.